My mother secretly hired a private investigator to find my fiance's family?
Well, sometimes you just need a private eye to find her family. Family? Oh,
It didn't work.
It was never going to work.
So first, the short version of the relationships post. I'm 30 male, marrying the love of my life, 27 female. She hates weddings, receptions, and everything wedding related. She thinks they are boring, but understands the need for a celebration. So she's planning a huge blowout party after a simple courthouse wedding. The party is going to have a lot of guests. My mom hated that we weren't doing the traditional wedding and tried to get us to change our minds. We declined. She then tried to get us to invite some of her friends. I said no, but made a mistake and mentioned that I was already inviting a lot of my family when most of my SO's family wasn't invited. Mom decided that these family members have to come. They have viewed my wife as a pariah her entire life, and I don't want them anywhere near her. And that's when you just say, no, sorry, you can't come.
Yeah, it's like if you're not down to celebrate the person, then why would you be there?
I know from what my mother has let slip that she already has invitations she may send out behind our backs. My aunt let it slip to me that my mother is going to hire a detective to try and find my wife's family, specifically her dad's side. Got it? Okay. Wait, what? Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're going to have to run that back.
OP's mom is like, well, we need to have all of your wife's family or your fiance's family there, so I'm going to track them down and force them to come to our wedding.
And this is the family that doesn't treat her well.
Treats her very poorly. So I posted that whole thing last night, and the advice was fairly clear. Come to Jesus Talk now. I decided I didn't want to put it off, so I told my wife I wouldn't be home for dinner and asked my mother if I could come over. I got over there with this whole speech in my head. Something to the effect of, Mom, I love you and I appreciate everything you've ever done for me, but this is my wedding. Your friends are not invited. SO's family is not invited. If you send out those invitations, you will be disinvited from the wedding. If you invite SO's family, you will be removed from my life. I know that SO hasn't spoken to them in a long time. There is a reason for it. Leave it alone. Why is she so obsessed?
I don't know. It's probably something where it's like, it has to happen because it's the wedding.
How they do it. It's how weddings go.
How it's done.
Who's supposed to walk her down the aisle? A ghost?
It's like, imagine all of her family are just like super villains.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, they have to be here.
It's for the greater good.
It's the wedding.
Well, I got to start my speech. I think she wanted to interrupt after the first part, but she saw how serious I was and stopped herself. She finally did something once I got to the disinvited part. Namely, she started wailing. How could you to your own mother? The whole bit.
Well, see, the thing is, Mom, it wouldn't happen as long as you don't send the invites I told you can't send.
She's like, how could you do this? OP has done nothing.
Yeah, I've done nothing but be like, don't do that.
Don't do that, yeah. I just didn't have a bone of empathy at that point, so I plowed on. I got to the end of my speech, and she started going into a diatribe about how my SO has changed me, accused her of being abusive, basically called her everything short of Satan for taking away her little boy. This led to a screaming match, and I left without much being resolved. She hasn't contacted me. Who has contacted me is my aunt, who gave me the tip-off about the PI being hired in the first place. Apparently, my mother invited her along to visit a detective that seemed promising. So finally, what I could use some advice on. My wife still doesn't know about any of this. She knows something's up, but I asked her to give me time to figure it out for myself. How do I tell her, since it's her family? Secondly, the way that I see it, I have two options to go with for the day of the wedding. I call plan A the straightforward way, and plan B the evil way.
Okay, well.
Gotta go the evil way.
Oh, really? You're choosing evil today?
You gotta go the evil way.
I guess let's see what's in each option.
You have two wolves in you, the straightforward one and the evil one. The straightforward way, or wolf, is to essentially just wait for my aunt to confirm that Mom has hired a PI, confront her with the knowledge, and go no contact. The second, more evil option is to let her come to the wedding. You see, the place we're holding this blowout is indoors, with only 2 doors in and out. I'm going to hire security guards and put them on each door. I could just hand them a list of the people who have been invited and have them turn away my mother's friends and my SO's family one by one. If my mother gets a call from her confused invitees and she freaks out on me, I'll just tell her coolly that she didn't have my permission to invite those people, and she better go outside and apologize to each and every one of them for stepping out of line. Yeah, the evil option may be a little too cartoony, but God, it would be satisfying.
That doesn't even sound evil.
That didn't even sound that evil. I do think maybe straightforward is the best way to go, but that didn't even sound that evil. That was just like, she can come, and if she does what I told her she can't do, then she has to go apologize to people.
If anything, it's like, I'm going to hire security and let her deal with the consequences of her actions.
Own action.
That doesn't even sound evil at all.
It doesn't sound that evil. Anyway, advice and other ideas about how to handle my mother, joking or not, are appreciated immensely. I need to tell my wife soon, so that part would be especially helpful. Thanks, everyone. And there is an update. Yeah. I figured you guys would appreciate an update, and you figured right. Since a lot has happened already, I want to start by saying thank you, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Second, a point of clarification. The reception we're holding is my girlfriend's idea. She has wanted to throw a party exactly like this since she was a teenager, but never had a chance to until now. This isn't a traditional reception because she hates those. There's going to be a pizza bar, salad bar, ice cream bar, and an open bar. There will be dancing and games for all ages. She's purposely putting together a play area for kids with babysitters on hand, just so our friends with kids can come and not worry about it. There's literally going to be everything from ball pits to Cards Against Humanity. I don't want to take this away from her. This party is her dream. Also, my mother knows nothing about those particular details. I learned the term CBF from this sub. What is that?
CBF.
Child
ceremony balloon fight.
Yeah.
Celebratory ballroom frolicking.
Ooh. Okay. And I was just imagining her glorious I want to say like
something
B-face.
face. Yeah,
like B face. Like C word, B word face.
Confused butt face.
I knew I knew I had to tell her about everything that had happened though. That's part of the reason I stopped replying to comments as early as I did. My wife got home. I sat her down and told her what my mother was planning to do. She pretty much knew the rest already, though I also imagined that my mother definitely had fake invitations she planned to send out. She listened and her face just got hard when I mentioned her family, but she kept listening. When I was done, she said, "Okay, they aren't coming." I agreed. We hatched a plan. A plot. There is a deposit down on the venue, but the date is far enough out that it could be transferred to a different date. She upped it by a week. My mom will not be told until the day of. Oh, so she's going to tell everyone, "Oh, you have to come to my son's wedding. It's on this day." And then OP's going to be like, day of. "Oh, just to let you know, the wedding was changed to next week."
Yeah.
Or maybe not day of. You would tell him day of the new wedding date.
You just got to plant the secret date, the secret fake date.
Exactly. My mom will not be told until the day of. My wife also agreed to the extra security measures. What we are having trouble deciding is how to handle two things. One is how to handle it if her family does show up. She figures there's a good chance most of them won't, but she always figures there's a good chance a few of them will. And if my mom invents a story about a tearful family reunion, she fears that more of them will fall for it. She doesn't want to see any of them, and frankly, I don't blame her. I asked my aunt to go ahead with my mom to the appointment with the PI, thinking maybe she could get the contact information and I could call the PI and let them know what's up. But I don't know if that will work. My SO already feels bad that we're involving my aunt. When I expressed that sentiment to my aunt, she was unconcerned. She did mention she wanted to get my mother checked out with a mental health professional though. Her behavior has gotten significantly worse lately, so I'm not opposed at all. After that long ramble, that brings us the other debate. How to handle my mom. Do we disinvite her outright or go the route of letting her come and letting her deal with the fallout from the fake invitations? We want to be able to keep tabs on her in case she tries anything else, but as things stand, the arrangement we have with my aunt, her blowing the whistle when she hears something, is working out great. We're afraid if we do much else, mom will realize where we're getting the information from and my aunt will be put on an information diet. You have to keep your mole in place.
You
Don't
have
give
to
her away.
protect the informant.
Yes. She's your whistleblower. Keep your sources anonymous.
Yeah, and plant the fake information.
Yeah.
Plant some fake info.
Little breadcrumb.
And then she'll be like, "How could you deceive me and lie to me?" And it's like, because look what you were doing.
Look what you were about to do.
Look what you were
told
gonna
you not to do that. To clarify, my mother isn't coming one way or another. I mean, yeah, you're telling her a fake date. I'm just figuring out how to balance disinviting her with the need to keep tabs on her in case she tries anything completely nuts. We're weighing our options carefully, but wanted to share. Thanks for the support. Wanted to let you know know that my wife will be reading too, though she's debating actually chiming in or not. And there is a second update. But do you have any thoughts on their plot?
I think the plot is going well so far. You know, you might end up just reaching a point where it's like, all right, no more plot. It's like, you need to be like, don't do this. We all know. We know you're doing this. Stop. If you don't stop, you're going to cause irreparable damage to our relationship.
Don't stop.
And that's that. But like, as of right now, the plot is fun.
The plot is fun.
The plot is fun.
Interesting. It's adding a little bit of levity, a little bit of childlike wonder.
Yeah, because it's making the best out of a very annoying, obnoxious situation, and it's like, all right, let's play a little game.
But let's get into this next update. This one is going to be a bit shorter, but a couple of things have happened that I thought you guys would appreciate. Mom knew the date, time, and where the party was going to happen, but not any other details. She wanted to be part of the planning, but the party is just my wife's baby. She's not even letting her friends touch this thing unless she needs assistance with something specific. At the time, we didn't see the issue with giving my mother these basic pieces of information, which I guess was short-sighted on our parts. Oh no, she's got to use the breadcrumbs to find the trail.
You can't let her follow the breadcrumbs back to the home base.
To the gingerbread house.
Your spy career is coming to an end quick.
Terrible. Also, this isn't the first time my mother has tried to be controlling over me and my relationships. This is the most extreme case, but certainly isn't the first. This also isn't the first time she's really gone after my wife, though again, not anything this extreme. Part of the reason I even wrote initially was to temper my own need for what can only be seen as revenge. So I really appreciate it when people temper my responses. All I'm thinking about are the 4 tempers. Woe, frolic. Is it malice and dread?
What is that? Severance?
Just so everyone knows, the wedding itself is happening in late June. That's my freaking birthday time.
Birthday time.
You can't do it then. That's when we're celebrating my birthday time.
Our birthday. Sophia.
Our birthday. Well, but you're not late June.
Actually, he came first, so June belongs to him.
It says late June. Late June is me.
It doesn't matter. The whole month of June belongs to him. Yeah.
And the party is happening early July. Because these events are coming up, my wife knew that we really had to get the invitations out. At this point, we were still going back and forth on how to handle my mother. Invite or not invite. To be or not to be.
Horatio.
That is the question.
Horatio or fellatio.
Yeah, don't invite her.
We had some time to decide since my wife needed to get new invitations printed with the new date anyway. My wife came up with the perfect idea based on a combination of the comments from the last post. Once the new invitations come in, she's going to send them out to everyone. My mother, on the other hand, is going to accidentally get an invitation from the old batch with the wrong date. Oh no, accidentally.
I don't know. Like, now I'm getting to the point where it's like, you should just directly confront her and be like, you're not going because you would be a headache and you've been unsupportive of my wife, and this is a day for both of us.
I think they're just a little bit worried that she's going to like figure out and go anyway, especially if they uninvite her.
I'm going to hire my own private investigator to investigate
keep an eye
you.
On you. Yeah. You ain't getting within like punting distance.
Yeah.
She may find out, but that's easy to write off as a mistake if she does figure it out. This plan, as much as I love it, may not come to pass because of the second thing. The second thing is that we have an appointment with a lawyer. We want to know what our legal options are in this situation before we blow it up by officially uninviting her, which we are leaning towards now, but also in regards to my wife's family. I've decided that my communications with my mother are going to be over text, and I've started shopping for security cameras. This is all going to at least be in the process before we have that uninviting discussion. I don't know what my mother is going to do, but I'm going to be prepared for anything.
A lawyer?
I guess.
A
maybe
lawyer?
Like for like restraining order? I don't know.
I guess. What? Like, it's like,
you legally have to let me attend your wedding. You invited me. I have it.
I have it in writing. P.S. I feel like my mother needs a nickname at this point since I'm planning on keeping you guys updated throughout ideas.
Oh boy.
Let's just keep calling her mother.
Let's call her Margaret.
Momgrit
Thatcher.
Momgrit Thatcher. Thatcher the Snatcher is what they called her.
Because she was snatching.
No, in Australia. Well, at least that's what my mom said. In Australia, they called her Thatcher the Snatcher because they all hated her.
But what she snatched?
She was snatching
like
tax funds.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Thatcher the Snatcher.
Update 3. Holy crap, it's been busy, you guys. This is going to be a long post. It's all going to be a long post. This is 7,000 words. First, we had that conversation with the lawyer. We've talked about a lot of different things. Most of it was general advice, and one thing is in the works in case everything goes sideways. The big discussion ended up being about the PI. He essentially said there wasn't much that we could do as long as he wasn't breaking any laws. But that didn't mean we couldn't go see him ourselves and plead our case. The PI. Oh, they're going to go directly to the PI and say, please stop PIing all over the place.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck, stop being Tom Selleck.
Please.
Thanks.
Yeah, stop pieing on me, dude.
Yeah. So that's what we did. However, we took one poster's advice and got in contact with my aunt first, the one who tipped us off about all of this, and subsequently went with my mom to the first meeting with the PI. She agreed to do it in exchange for lunch and some conversation. I was never very close with my aunt until about 5 years ago. Despite growing up in the same town she lived in, I never saw her that much, and our relationship grew independently of my mother. I brought up my concerns again about her being alienated from my mother, which she was kind of dismissive of before. She repeated her initial assessment that my mother may have some mental health issues going on. But then she went into stories from her childhood. I won't repeat them here because they aren't my stories to tell. But my aunt has finally gotten to the end of her rope after a lifetime of abuse from her sister. She doesn't care if this burns a bridge. As far as she's concerned, she'll gladly lend some gasoline to the fire. We decided we would try for a weekly lunch together. Honestly, just swap your aunt for your mom. Just make your aunt your mom.
Yeah,
And then
it's
get rid of
just
your mom.
swap.
Auntie mom.
Mom swap.
Mom swap. Like
Whoa.
that. Did you
Like
guys
that
ever watch
show,
the movie
Mom.
Wife Swap?
You mean the show Wife Swap?
Did I say movie?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Well,
You mean the
all right.
show?
Mental gymnastics. They are moving pictures.
Yeah.
So back in the day, back in the OG day.
Oh, are we back in the day?
All right, back in the day when people were afraid that the train was going to come through the screen,
Yeah. We've all heard the story.
they would still call it a movie.
So after that, all three of us, aunt, wife, and me, went to the PI. He definitely recognized my aunt when we first walked in. We pleaded our case, my wife doing most of the talking. She explained why she wasn't in contact with her family anymore and why she didn't want mother-in-law to have the contact information. I told him I'd pay him not to investigate everything. He was quiet through it all and at the end said that we had given him a lot to think about. He's like, yes, there's so much to think about how to get money from both of you.
Yes,
How
so
do I
much
get money
to
from your mom?
consider about my revenue streams.
My finances. You're both offering me great deals.
Yes. Proposal. I spy on both of you at the same time.
Did you think about that? Didn't think about that, did you? I think we should hire a private investigator to spy on one of us.
Yeah, but
But like we
wait,
know.
okay. All right.
We know, and so we have to try and like hide. It's like Amazing Race, except there's a private investigator, and also I guess it's not really like Amazing
PI
Race.
for Riley.
No, but I think we would have to tell him so that because otherwise I feel like it'd be incredibly easy.
What do you mean?
Like it would be incredibly easy. We already know what Riley does. But let's say Riley knows about the PI and he has to actively hide from the PI.
So he has
it's
to
like
go
hide and
do-
seek, but with the PI.
Yeah.
So it's just hide and seek.
PI'd and seek.
But with the PI.
PI'd and seek. PI'd and seek.
He was quiet through it all, and we said that.
It sounds like I'm saying peed in the sink.
Pete under sink.
We already had yesterday with John. Let's not.
What?
What was John talking about?
Oh,
His therapy.
Oh, pain
yeah.
is.
Pain is growth.
Yeah, right. We are sure that the PI decided to go ahead with it anyway. We haven't heard anything to indicate he had any sort of sympathy. We've been making more detailed contingency plans in case they show up, so my wife never has to see them. And last, but certainly not least, I had the big discussion with my mother. Your disinvited discussion. Yes, you guys, I actually did it, and it's like 1,000,000 tons of bricks off my shoulders.
Yeah, see, that's good.
Yes. I was at her house. She had invited me to dinner. I told her I knew about the extra invitations and her hiring a PI to find wife's family. She immediately started denying, but I told her I went to see the same PI she had hired. She gave this big dramatic sigh and said something along the lines of, well, it was going to be a surprise, but I wanted to give wife a family reunion for her wedding. That she didn't want. That you've been told multiple times she did not want.
I'm trying to like think of like a pop culture character with an evil family that they wouldn't want to see. It'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like if one of the kids from a series of unfortunate events was getting married and they were like, well, we just wanted to reunite you with your crazy estranged uncle, Count Olaf.
That's literally the plot of series of unfortunate
Right,
events.
but it's like if they grow up and get married and then the in-laws like, well, yeah, I just figured that your the guy who raised you should be there. It's like, he's literally evil.
That absolutely would be a plot in series of unfortunate events, though.
Where they just are in Olaf's
like,
invited to the wedding and they're like, stop.
They're like,
he's
stop
evil.
inviting Olaf. They're like, no, this isn't Olaf. This is your Uncle Bolaf. And Olaf is like, hello, I'm Bolaf. That absolutely would be a plot.
All right, hire me.
Love unfortunate.
Hire me to write the script.
Oh, man. The show was actually quite good. I really liked the show.
I did not watch it. Is Jim Carrey in the show?
No.
Yeah, so that's why I won't watch it.
It's Neil Patrick Harris, and he does a great job.
He'll always be Dr. Horrible to me.
He does a really great job. But the movie's also great.
Have you never seen Dr. Horrible sing along blog?
Nope.
Oh my God, you would like that a lot.
He's Neil Patrick Harris to me.
You never seen that? It's probably just before your time.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
He's Neil Patrick Harris as Neil Patrick Harris.
I reminded her that I had told her that they weren't invited for a reason. She started saying that there was no way that this wasn't happening at her, yes, as in PM's, I'm assuming mother's, wedding. And I completely lost it. And so now it's her wedding? Now it's your mom's wedding?
Wait a minute. I'm confused. Wait, what? No. What happened? What happened?
The mom just said, so OP's telling his mom, oh, you're not invited to the wedding. And she's like, this is terrible. This can't be happening at my wedding. And he's like, sorry, your wedding?
Why is it like, I don't understand it. That's your son's wedding. Your son can be an extension of you, but that's not your wedding. It's his wedding.
It's his wedding. All of my careful planning for what I was going to say went out the window. I screamed at her, she wailed, and I left in a huff. In the midst of the screaming, I made sure to tell her she was disinvited from the wedding and the party. I also told her I don't want to see her again. The camel's back snapped in half.
No, not the camel. No.
Beyond that, we've been setting up the house with security cameras. Wife is happily putting the finishing touches on all the planning now and has started putting together the minimal decorations. We're completely set for the extinction burst that everyone has warned us about. I have never felt more at peace with my life.
What is the extinction burst?
I think...
Did I miss
I don't
the extinction
know.
burst?
I think they just mean like...
Are these dinosaurs getting married?
Yeah. Or
It's like, we've heard that there's a comet that's going to crash into the Yucatan Peninsula, but we're taking it with a grain of salt.
Also, I got a job offer about 500 miles away that would start in September. Wife had started putting in for positions in the same area. Okay, so you'll be 500 miles away from your mother.
Okay.
Nice. Several of our friends actually ended up moving to that same area. They're flying in for the parties, so this could be interesting. That sounds like it's all working out for you.
Okay, and to be clear, the extinction comment was a behavioral management reference because when something is going extinct, it fights harder. So it's probably just like being prepared for like the mom's last hurrah to be like, no! And it's just like, too late, mom, I'm moving 500 miles away.
Bye. Update 4. I guess I was hoping for too much. I hadn't heard from Party Monster, I'm assuming mother, for about 6 days after our discussion, long enough that I wondered if she had gotten the message and was leaving us alone. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking either. Mom calls on Friday morning, reminding me that Mother's Day was incoming and that she expected me to be available for our usual plans with hat in hand, ready to apologize. Not gonna happen. I simply didn't call her back.
She's like, it's the day that you're legally required to forgive me for everything I've done.
Literally have to, and I'm going to tell you a list of all the things that I've been doing bad. I did a lot of wrong stuff, and I waited until Mother's Day to tell you because you can't be mad at me.
Now you can't be mad at me and you have to forgive me legally. Thank you. I talked to a lawyer.
When she hadn't heard from me on Friday night, she called again, leaving another message reminding me of Mother's Day. When she hadn't heard from me on Saturday, I could tell she went into panic mode. My phone blew up and the messages became increasingly desperate. There's one where she's just sobbing. My mom doesn't cry. Literally, I've never seen her actually cry. She has perfected the fake I want attention cry. And it sounded exactly like that.
It was just like, oh, woe is me.
Oh, I need to be at your wedding. I need to be at my wedding. I mean, your wedding.
What's yours is mine. Oh.
fiancé and I left on Mother's Day to go do some things in another town, and I turned my phone off to avoid the constant ringing. When we got back, we found a note on our door from my mother. She was threatening to call the cops if we didn't answer. She just wanted her Mother's Day, etc. She calls the cops and she's like, my son won't celebrate Mother's Day for me now.
Please have him arrested. He won't celebrate with me and he won't forgive me. Please. Please, Mr. Policeman.
There's been radio silence since that incident. I don't know if that was the start of the extinction burst, or if what I said to her last time hadn't sunk in. I'm sure it has now. Update on our own lives. Fiancé got an interview in that city 500 miles away. Hopefully things will fall into place soon. If everything goes according to plan, we'll leave quietly in August.
I'm sorry, but 500 miles seems so specific.
I will walk 500 miles.
And
Anyway.
you best believe that he'd walk 500 more.
No.
But there is another update, if you could believe it.
It's going to be like a new branch of law was invented called mom law.
Mom law, and now she's forcing us to see her on Mother's Day.
She stole the Magna Carta because are they in the United States? I feel like they're in
think so.
England. No?
Oh, I don't know.
Are they not in England?
They haven't been saying mum.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, well, maybe she didn't steal the Magna Carta. The joke was that she was adding mom law into a prestigious legal document. And then trying to be like, see? It's been there. It's in the Constitution.
The whole time. Update 5. I got a call on Friday while I was at work. It was on my cell phone and things were really busy that day, so I didn't even check who it was. Sure enough, it was Mother. She called to let me know that she had dropped off a package at my doorstep. She knew she was uninvited from the wedding, but she wanted my wife to have this token to please consider wearing yada yada yada, fake crying the entire time. I end up getting home before fiancé and go inside to open the package. Inside is my mother's wedding dress, nicely sealed in one of those boxes that dry cleaners will use to preserve clothes. Now, let me explain to you why I broke down laughing at this quote-unquote peace offering. I never knew my father. He passed away when I was about 2, which is why he hadn't come up at all in previous posts. My mother didn't grieve normally for whatever reason and ended up staying angry for a long time. She smeared my father's name to me for years and refused to let me meet my paternal grandparents when I lived under her roof. I finally did it behind her back when I was in college. Lovely people, I sent them invitations to the party.
What?
She's
No,
dang.
just the not letting you meet your
grandparents.
Your grandparents, and then also slam dunking on your
Deceased.
no
yeah.
longer alive
Yeah.
father.
When she complained about my father, you would have thought that he was passed away beat dad rather than a passed away guy. He abandoned us. Oh, sorry. Like he was a D beat dead. I'm trying to. It doesn't make sense if I say passed away beat dad. Deed beat
You
dad.
gotta see it in
Deed beat
see it
dad.
in an accent.
That he abandoned us was strong for God knows what reason. The big centerpiece of her complaint, though, was their wedding. He was a cheapskate, she said, and he would only allow them to get married in a courthouse. She only managed to get her wedding dress because it was on such a sale. It was cheap and ugly, but at least she had that. The reality of the situation, as told by my grandparents, is that my father and mom were incredibly poor since they were a young couple, and their finances simply wouldn't allow them a big wedding. She wanted a big wedding and had a tantrum over it. My grandparents used different words, but I could tell that's what they meant. And she ended up getting a cheap wedding gown in order to make herself feel better about not being treated like a real princess for a day. Now, with all the history behind it and with everything else going on between me and my mother, this would already feel like an ill omen coming from her. But the fact that she had complained about this dress, calling it cheap and ugly, on more than one occasion is what really did it. Mom goes to church bright and early every Sunday. My fiance and I taped up the package and put it back on her doorstep. And there is another update. They keep coming.
Can't she just like leave it alone?
No,
Like
she's a nightmare.
it's been made clear to you that you are not wanted here in any way, shape, or form due to your behavior.
Indeed.
So back off.
Get out of here. How she didn't think this would be effing obvious, I have no idea. For those who missed it last time, my mother tried to gift my fiance her old wedding dress to wear. My mother complained about this dress all throughout my childhood, essentially calling it hideous and also using it as a focal point to complain about her wedding and my passed away father in general. She did this to try and get us to break no contact. We left the wedding dress on our doorstep. I had mentioned my mother's church friends in the last post. There are 3 of them in particular, including my mother, that make a relatively tight-knit group. My mother would lean on them for support when I was young, and I'm fairly certain she still does now. I was sure she was going to turn around and complain to them when we rejected the dress without a phone call or some form of communication. What I didn't realize is that this would be the beginning of my mother's flying monkeys. One of them, let's call her Cheryl, actually showed up at my door while we were home. I answered the door and actually thought she came over to see me or to borrow something. I still have much to learn, clearly. Either that or I need to tune up my spidey sense. We stood and chatted at the door for a little bit. When I asked Cheryl if she wanted to come in, she begged off. I can't remember precisely what was said, but it went something like this.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. I have a lot to do today. I just wanted to come and tell you in person that your mother's worried about you. Also, returning that dress was incredibly rude. How dare you? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I'm an enabling moron who's never seen through mom's BS and am now telling you how to run your life.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I gave back the dress that you always said was ugly and hideous that you hated.
Yeah, I'd be like, didn't you say you hated this dress? You return the dress and on it you put a note and says, didn't you say you hated this dress?
Yeah. Why are you trying to like cosplay, roleplay, daydream that this is your wedding?
So weird.
Stop.
So weird.
Stop it.
I told her in the nicest possible way to go F herself and then slammed the door in her face. If my mother's flying monkeys continue to be this inept, I guess I won't have any problems managing them. This woman used to watch me when I was a kid, so maybe she just thought I needed a talking to from someone else. I don't know. Also, my wife told me that you are all very kind for all the online shopping suggestions and told me to post a link so that you can all see it. She also told me I can't look at it. Don't tell her I peeked. And there is another update. Man, oh man. We're one after another.
Update.
Already married. Update 7. Mom has been leaving packages at my door 3 over the last week full of stuff that she's baked. She's a really good baker, but I just don't want them out of principle. Should I quietly throw them away? Let her know I don't want them somehow? My wife and I just split up the contents of each package and took them to work with us. Our coworkers have all really liked the treats. The 4th just showed up today and it was a whole cake. Thoughts? That is a little bit tricky because I think this is absolutely a way of like her trying to win you back or kind of garner some favor in a way that she can use against you.
What's in that cake?
What's in that cake?
What's in that
That's
cake?
what I was worried about originally.
What'd you bake
but
that
it
cake
seems
with?
like it's fine.
This cake tastes like almonds.
Oh no, sign. I think bringing them to the workers seems like a good idea. Or like, you just like gift them out or stuff.
I would like, yeah, just
I wouldn't
give
want
it
to
away.
throw them out because that feels wasteful.
Yeah, but it's like, stop it. You can't get back on my side with a treat.
Yeah. Update 8. No update on the situation with the packages yet, other than the Boys and Girls Club was ecstatic to receive the cake. But the thread by someone else about the creepiest thing your mother-in-law ever did reminded me of when I first met my fiancée, then just girlfriend, so I figured I'd share. I knew I was going to share stories of mother before she completely lost her marbles. Might as well start now. The short version of my post is Mom liked that I was attracted to the same gender. I'm not, I'm bi, but didn't understand that this meant I'd have a boyfriend. She actively pursued my then boyfriend for a while in a romantic sense. What?
So
OP
she's
was
already
with a guy.
had a history of, it's mine actually. No, your boyfriend, that's my boyfriend. Your wedding, that's my wedding.
That's insane.
That's wild.
Ex-boyfriend and I broke up due to unrelated reasons. The reason Mom liked the idea of me being attracted to the same gender is that she was able to hang this fact over people's heads if she wasn't getting her way. They're like, you can't steal that money, Mom. And the mom's like, I have a gay son. You can't tell me I have a gay son.
My son is gay.
He's gay.
He's gay.
You homophobe.
You shut your dirty
I'm
mouth.
taking this money, and my son is gay.
My son is gay, and I'm taking this money.
The example that sticks out in my mind is when she put in an order to bakery for a cake for my 22nd birthday. It was a really busy time of year, and Mom had waited until the last second to order the cake. So they had to decline the special order. Special order. She started to make a big stink about how they were doing it because I was attracted to the same gender. They ended up capitulating and making it. Oh, so it worked.
She's like, you're homophobes. You don't want to make the cake because my son's gay.
And they're like, oh, shoot, you've trapped us.
Yeah, she was.
There's already a problem with that other bakery that wouldn't make the gay cake.
They're just,
we can't be that bakery either.
They're just like, she's totally wrong, but the optics are all
the
right.
optics.
Dang it.
Anyway, ex-boyfriend and I are broken up and I meet fiancé. I'm immediately smitten with this woman. She's schmexy. She's funny. And I was just gone so fast. My friends kept teasing me later that it was like the rest of the world became invisible to me. That's so cute.
That's toxic. No, I'm just kidding. It's sweet.
We dated for 8 months before the meet the parents topic finally came up. I put it off because of mom, and fiance had put it off because her father passed away a few months before we met. So, sore subject on both sides. She knew how crazy mom was already. I had told her stories and said that she at least wanted to meet the woman who had made my life a living hell. I agreed that we could do dinner or something. At this point, I was waffling between some contact and very low contact with mom and was struggling with the idea of completely abandoning her. I knew she was toxic though. Because of this internal struggle, I hadn't told her about fiancé yet. I keep my private life private until I know this person will be there for the long haul. So I call and tell her that I've met someone. She gets all excited and asks who it is. I relay my fiancé's name and my mother is immediately confused. Mom,
But you're attracted to the same gender.
me. No, mom, I'm bi. I like men and women. Repeat ad nauseum for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Wait. But you're no.
you like men.
You like men.
And women.
No, you like men.
And women.
Men.
No,
And women.
men and women.
Wabbit season.
Exactly. At the end of the call, she started crying about how I had deceived her. I hung up on her.
She's like, I think of all the people I yelled at for your gay cakes.
You're not even gay.
You're not even gay. You have to give me those cakes back.
We did go out for dinner about a week later. Mom was on her best behavior. She admitted later that this was because she realized she would have biological grandchildren this way, and she was trying to make a good impression. She was like, you know what? I've realized now that you're not gay,
Yeah.
I can have grandkids that are related to me.
She's like, I saw this crazy after school special about pregnancy, and I realized you can have children with your wife.
Your wife.
That would be my grandchildren, so I like it.
I'm back on board. My spine wasn't up to snuff yet. I'd say a solid 2x4 rather than the polished steel of today. So I just rolled my eyes at her. And there is an update 9. So let's keep cracking on.
Let's just crack on.
So here's the plan I ended up going with. In the time between my asking for advice and now, my mother dropped off another package. So I took the cake from the first package and the assorted baked goods from the second package and went on a giving spree. Fiancé followed me and took pictures. The Boys and Girls Club got the cake. A homeless shelter got the majority of the contents of the second package. Some homeless guy who was begging on the street got some brownies, etc. There was a lot of stuff to give away. I then printed out some of the pictures that fiancé had taken of me giving these things away and made up a sign on some printer paper that said, "Thank you for your generous donation of baked goods, but we will not be accepting any more food donations at this time." I then posted the sign on the door and taped up the pictures around it and waited.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
You're waiting.
This is a volcano that's about to erupt.
Yeah, it's like you're the guy who. Have you seen the video of the guys? They throw like a big rock into a volcano.
Yeah, and then it's just like.
and they kickstart the volcano. Yeah,
And it
it's
goes
like that's what you're doing here.
I didn't know what reaction I was expecting, but I did come home yesterday to find the sign and photographs crumpled up on the ground rather far away from the door, like someone got mad and threw them. Petty revenge is best revenge. I'll update you guys if she actually tries to make contact. All right, guys, update time. There's a second part to the story, but that'll come in a second post because it's longer. So I've been seeing a psychologist for a while. It's pretty infrequently at this point. But this guy helped me get through a lot of the BS that mom put me through. I don't think he knows everything, but he knows the vast majority. He was very supportive of my going no contact. He's good at trying not to lead people down certain paths, but he looked visibly relieved when I told him. Anyway, I filled him in on the packages and how I chose to deal with them. He agreed that was hilarious, but that he was getting worried about me. One of the things that I've been wrestling with for a while, as I think I've mentioned before on here, is a need for what can only be described as vengeance.
I'm vengeance.
Vengeance.
I'm vengeance.
I am Batman.
Yeah. Imagine if his voice was different. Let's not actually. Let's keep going.
Batman.
He says that it's an understandable reaction after what I had gone through, but that going down that path might hurt me more in the long run.
This is true.
I think your psychologist
This
is right.
True.
I think your psychologist is kind of on to something.
He's right on point. You know what pays? What pays the most?
Psychology.
Having no enemies. Do you know how you have no enemies? You don't fight anybody.
It's true. I have zero nemesises.
Nemesis?
Nemesis.
Nemesi, mamasa, mama.
Mamusa. Initially, I thought he meant the old adages about revenge being dangerous. I started talking about how I knew it was an issue and how I definitely needed to work on it, but didn't really know how yet. He sat and listened while I rambled for a bit, then clarified. I'm glad you recognize this is an issue and it's definitely something we can work on. However, I was referring to the fact that your way of going about things most likely escalated the situation, which is what we said.
That's what I said.
That's what we said.
Make me your therapist.
To which I replied, oh crap. So why am I talking about this? Well, partially to reassure everyone I am getting help, and also to tell you guys that my psychologist might just be Nostradamus, or just like very looking at the very obvious signs that say stop.
Yeah, you basically like spit a spitball at your mom, and
he was like, hey, I think you just made your mom mad with that spitball. And he was like, how did you?
He's like, oh my God, wait. And yeah, that's probably going to make her behavior worse. Oh, dude, here's $8,000.
Yeah, that's so funny. But I guess this guy needs someone to tell him the obvious things in life.
I mean, on a real level, because it's like, I don't want my comment there to be misconstrued as dissing therapy. I'm dissing that it costs a lot of money sometimes, but it's like, it really is invaluable to have like a unbiased third party who's also an expert on human emotion or like human cognitive reasoning. Be like, hey, like you did that and that's not the right thing you want to do. And sometimes you really just need that to be able to go, oh my God, you're right.
Genius.
I've never thought of it that way. And
You're
it's
literally a genius.
That's all it is sometimes.
And there you go. But there is an update. A few of you have mentioned that Mom's brand of abuse and attempts to weasel her way back into my life have been rather blunt. Well, I can tell you that's because that's what used to work for her. I kind of assumed she would get craftier too, and I guess she's in some sort of transition period between the two. Fiancé and I were home and in our den when we heard someone trying to get in.
Oh, I like something trying to get in.
Trying to get in.
A creature, and it sounds like,
Let me in. I'm your mom. Let me in. Let me in. It's cold
oh
out
God,
here.
oh God, oh God.
Like using a key or something, considering we were both at home. It took me a minute to realize who it probably was. I had given Mom a key to the house in case I ever got locked out. You fool. It hadn't been a problem until now because I had always let her in. You should have changed the locks. However, as part of our security measure against her, we had changed the locks. Okay, so you did.
Woo.
Never mind, I take it back.
Crisis averted.
Got really angry and wanted to just storm out there and confront her. However, that would break no contact and if I was going to let her win. So fiance and I snuck out to see what we could see, purposely hiding ourselves from the front door.
Okay, pause. Because that's not breaking. I wouldn't consider that breaking no contact. Being like, get out of here.
Get out of here, yeah.
Is not breaking no contact.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like
just
a
like
game
setting
of permanent
boundaries.
hide and seek where they can't see you or hear you.
That's so funny. Opie's like, if she sees me, I lose.
No, she's winning right now actually because you're letting her
She's trying
like
to break
bother
into
you
your
and you're
house.
hiding behind like a door.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to open it and be like, get out of here. I'm calling the police.
Get. After a couple of minutes of trying, we both heard her start to sob. We were pretty sure she threw her key down on the ground in frustration and started fake crying. We then heard her talking to someone. I assumed it was my aunt in order to come and pick her up. But it was not, and it turns out she called my cousin. This guy is a groomsman and my mother's brother's son. I thought he understood that my mother was bat crap crazy, but apparently not. She made up some wild story about how she knew fiancé was beating me. She could hear me screaming, but she didn't want to call the cops because they would just arrest me. He came to the house. If I heard all of that, I'd text him and be like, hey dude, my mom's crazy. I'm literally fine.
Sorry, it's just the logic.
It's so stupid.
It's like he's screaming and being
But if
beaten,
I call him,
but he'd be arrested.
cops.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw his truck, I reassured my wife that everything was fine and he was going to take Mom home. Instead, a few minutes later, he was using a crowbar to pry open our door.
Wow.
I'm sorry, OP, I'm sorry. There are so many moments where you could have you knew that he was calling, you knew who she was calling, so you ring him up, say, hey, everything's fine. He's trying to get into your house. You say, hey, open the door. Dude, I'm fine. There's so many options here.
Yeah, you did not have to. I'm feeling like your psychologist is also going to talk to you about that decision to not immediately resolve this situation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, sometimes people love being embroiled in conflict.
It's true. When I realized what had happened, I flew into a rage. I banged open the door and screamed at them to get off my property. My cousin started yelling back at me that he was trying to save my But I told him he was uninvited from the wedding and that he wasn't a groomsman anymore because he was helping mom. Well,
This is verging into everyone sucks here territory. I mean, clearly you suck less than the mom, but it's like, this is a very clear situation where you could have resolved it almost instantly. And instead you kind of just like let it go to the point where now he's damaging your door and prying it open with a crowbar. And now you're yelling and mad and upset. It's like, you should have just gone out right away.
Oh, okay. Nicole H says he didn't know it was his cousin until his cousin pulled up. Yeah, so it does seem like he was telling us that after.
But no, but it's they were watching this happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that he didn't know it was the cousin. What matters is that he could have immediately been like, get off of my doorstep.
Yeah, like before
I'm
the
not
crowbar
talking to you.
comes. Yeah.
You have to leave.
Yeah, just like open the door.
But he's like, then I'll lose. And it's like, no, you're losing now, actually. You're losing more now than if you had just opened the door.
Literally. My mother started fake crying again and begging me to come home away from my harmful fiance. I chased them off by threatening to call the cops. My fiance, bless her, was in a better state of mind than me and started taking pictures of them and my cousin's truck discreetly through the window. We are in the midst of pressing charges. No idea how this is going to go or if it's worth it to pursue it. I just feel defeated. I thought my cousin had my back, especially since he knows how crazy mom can be. Fiance is trying to be supportive and reminds me why I'm doing this very frequently. We're setting up the LLC next week, Monday, so that she won't be able to find us when we buy our new house. Fiance got a job offer in the town 500 miles away, where I also got an offer. We're gone July 30th.
Nice.
Edit, guys, I got it on video. I put up the cameras a few days ago. There's 2 by the door. They captured the whole thing, plus audio. I listened to the entire bullcrap story she fed him. She was describing how my fiance was abusing him, just like I told you about. Holy crap, she's been feeding him bullcrap this entire time. I'm so effing angry, I'm beyond done. And there is another update. I think it's a little, I don't know. I understand that where OP's coming from in terms of like telling the cousin that he's no longer a groomsman. But I do think it seems like he is not really taking into account that the cousin was totally lied to and was trying to help him. Like, I don't know. Like, I do understand where OP's coming from.
Well, it's like, yeah, you took a crowbar to my door.
Yeah, that part's crazy.
But like, did he know that the mom had become estranged? Like, is the family aware that she's like behaving this way? Like,
because it seems like OP's cousin thought he was being abused imminently, thought the mom heard him screaming and like rushed over to help.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I
think
feel
that
like
was
that
the comment earlier was it's like OP didn't know that was his cousin until the cousin showed up, so they couldn't have had like a phone call about like, dude, I'm fine. But it's like, again, open the door.
Yeah, open the
door. You just open the door and go, get out. She's lying. I don't know what.
I'm wondering, did the cousin knock at all, or did he just go immediately to crowbar?
I don't know. There was probably a lot of knocking, and then the mom's crying.
Yeah, the mom's like,
so there's a lot going on, and then he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just leverage the door open with a crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like, why doesn't your key work anymore?
Because she changed the lock so she can savage my son.
I do feel like a conversation could be had with the cousin after the fact.
Also, dude, if you have these security cameras, I guarantee you there was a way for OP to be like through their phone, like, hey, I'm fine. Y'all need to leave.
Yeah. Well, if it's a Ring camera. Yeah.
Right. Or there's so many that you can do that with. So I don't know. I think clearly OP's not like, the catalyst here is OP's mom, but OP went about that in the way that was most likely to cause more problems.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the low-key, the way that OP's operating is it's like, you kind of got to you were like kind of home free and it was like, all right, now we're getting ready for her behavior to get worse as we cut her off and then just like to not feed into it. But you're like escalating.
Yeah, let me poke the bear.
Escalating. And by not just opening the door and being like, leave, you escalated, you allowed that situation to escalate without you affecting it. So, which in and of itself was a decision. And why don't we want peace, OP? Let's keep the peace. Let's keep that peace that we fought so hard for.
Truly. But let's get into this update. A little background on my uncle, just to fill in some blanks. He is the one who made me realize that mom was abusive and showed me what a real family was. A real family and real functioning household looked like. I owe him everything. My cousin is a mechanic who has had some trouble with the law in the past. All of these charges were minor and he hasn't had any issues since about 5 years ago. I spoke with my uncle early Saturday morning. I told him everything that I knew about the incident and how his son was involved. He put his head in his hands and asked to speak with his son privately before I spoke with him. I said that was fine. My uncle called me later that night. He told me that he had spoken to my cousin and that there were some things I needed to know. As many of you suspected, my mother has been spreading rumors that my fiancé is beating me. Not just to my cousin, but to anyone in the family who would listen. So everyone's being spread lies. She could play concerned mother this way, and of course everyone knows that people who grow up in harmful households always end up in harmful long-term relationships. Of course, we can't ask him about it because then he'll just deny it and fiancé will know we're on to the whole deal and they'll do something drastic. My uncle hasn't heard a word of these rumors, probably because mom knew he wouldn't believe her. My aunt hadn't either, but she said it was possible that mother just hadn't gotten to her yet. With rumors like that filling his head, I can sympathize with where my cousin was coming from, but I had no idea how to proceed from here with him or the rest of my family. My uncle and aunt are the only ones mom probably hasn't weaponized into flying monkeys, and she's done it in such a way I don't know if anyone else would believe my side of the story. We're leaning more and more towards the idea of just eloping. Fiancé has started putting together a list of people she'll need to call on Monday. We're going to announce the move at the wedding, but we're thinking of just quietly leaving and putting the house on the market the day after our stuff is gone. Meeting about the creation of the LLC tomorrow morning. We're going to talk to the attorney we've been working with about additional steps to take to protect our privacy. Wife and I only have Facebook, which we're both thinking of deleting after the wedding. I think it might be time for scorched earth. And there is an edit and a short update. Do you have any thoughts before we get into it?
I don't know if scorched earth is a good idea.
That's my thought.
Scorch the earth. Scorch the earth.
I'm hoping that OP
Sound
means when he says scorched earth, he just means like we're going no contact. We're not
Like
engaging in any
permanently.
of this.
Usually scorched earth is
revenge, I know.
yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, let's remember
Let's
what
not
your
do that.
therapist
Let's not do
said.
that.
Remember.
It's not the Jedi way.
Yeah, come on, dude. Hey, but let's just move on with our lives, right? Leave her behind. Don't feed into her conflict.
Yeah.
Just
Also, Avery
be
from the
peace.
Swamp says, okay, my husband had a rough childhood. None of his girlfriends before have been abusive, neither have I. I think that, just to be clear, I don't think that's OP's take. I think that was him saying, like, that's how his mom convinced people.
Yeah.
I think that was like something along the lines of what he was implying there. But there is an update. I spoke with my cousin finally. He said he was afraid to call the cops and ambulance because he was afraid I would be arrested if there were any marks on fiancé. He realized he effed up as soon as he saw me, but was in adrenaline mode, so got defensive. He apologized and showed remorse. I'm not afraid to go to my family because of embarrassment or anything like that. I'm just aware of how it will look if I try to clear it up now. Oh, did fiancé find out we know? Is she making him say this? Sort of thing. Many of my relatives still trust mom because she has gotten better at hiding her worst behaviors over the years. The only ones who don't trust her are her siblings, aunt and uncle. We haven't decided for sure what to do with the party. We're going to try and get the date of the courthouse wedding moved up if we can, though. We already have all the paperwork sorted. We've also already hired security for the party, so in theory, it wouldn't be an issue anyway, but I'm just not sure. And there is another update.
Lucky update number 13.
I think this might be our final update.
Let's go ahead.
The legal stuff with the breaking and entering is moving forward. I can't post much more about it beyond the fact that I'm 99% sure both cousin and mom are going to plead guilty. Fiancé and I are now married!
Congratulations.
It took us 7,000 words to get there, but we got it.
Yep,
We got it.
we did it.
You pushed through all of the mom stuff and you got married. So, unfortunately, we couldn't get our time moved up, so it happened on the day we had originally intended, yesterday. It was quiet and beautiful, and someday I'm going to make up this whole mess to her. She tells me that I don't have to, but I'm still going to try somehow. We are quietly canceling the whole party. We're losing some money in the process, but we're willing to take the loss. We're planning an intimate honeymoon once we get to our new city. Fiancé sent the news to everyone on the guest list via a mass email, making an excuse about an emergency coming up. We're trying to push everything forward as fast as we can, hoping to leave earlier than expected. Our plans right now are to hire some movers, pay them extra to help us pack all night, and we'll put the house up for sale the moment all of our stuff is out. We can make it work until then. There are some fantastic rentals that we can get a 1-year lease on in the new city. I mostly feel numb about all of this right now. I didn't realize how much I was running on anger. Wife now has been supportive, though concerned and obviously stressed. I'm hoping I'll swing back around to anger.
Oh.
And unlucky number 14. I think this is actually the final update.
Can't we swing back around to just like peace and tranquility?
I don't want anything to happen.
And freedom.
I want it to be like, guys, we've been doing great 500 miles away from my mother. We're pregnant now. Everything's great. I want $1 million.
My life is the embodiment of tranquility.
I've actually achieved nirvana.
Yeah, I sat under a tree.
And I met Nirvana the band.
I guess it was what was the tree? The Buddha tree?
I don't know.
I feel like, is it a bodhisattva tree? Or is that a title for people who are enlightened? I know bodhisattva is
I think it's the title for
I think it is. It might be both.
I don't know if it was the tree, but I know it's the title.
Okay, I'm Googling.
But there is another update. Hi guys, it's been a while. I'm sorry for the radio silence. It's been a hell of a ride the last few months. I looked back at my last post and was shocked it had been 5 months. It feels like an eternity. The reason I didn't post is that a lot has happened. No. And honestly, I felt so drained about the whole thing. No. That I haven't wanted to post. Plus, I've gotten advice from lawyers not to post. Technically, I'm still under that advice, so I'm not going to go into detail until things are over and done with. However, I can talk about the results. Mom has been involuntarily checked into a mental facility. Whoa. The diagnosis is serious, and some of the doctors won't say if she'll ever be healthy enough to leave. She was involuntarily committed because of a serious crime she committed, which is what I won't repeat yet. The way things are going, I may be able to give the story soon. But you know what you can do soon? Listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. But don't do it yet, because we still have a little bit left of the story.
Was it arson? Was I right? Could it have been arson?
Think so.
The crime she committed? Did she try to burn the house down?
I feel like it's got to be worse than breaking and entering, because she already kind of did that.
She had to have. I think she tried to burn the house down.
I think you could be right. And maybe
we better
in time
after
we'll find
14 updates, if this isn't in there, if the result of her crimes is not in there. Oh, see. Oh, okay. Now, do we know for sure that she would have done this crime
had OP not spitballed her?
If you stopped spitballing on her, perhaps not. But also, perhaps still. It's impossible to say.
It truly is.
However, the path of peace is one you must deliberately take.
Has that pumpkin been there the whole time?
Yes.
Is it not like completely rotted?
No. Grab it.
It's the wax coating.
Grab it. Just grab it and look under it. No, it's good.
No, it's like literally completely.
That's insane.
That is kind of. That's
not
disturbing.
real. That's
No,
not
it's real.
That's not real.
It's real.
It doesn't
Oh,
have,
you know why?
It's got the sticker on it.
Maybe it's because it's a pumpkin citrulli. So maybe it's like pumpkin fused with a citrus. So the citrus.
Well, anyway, there's a little bit left of the story.
Yeah, that's kind of disturbing. Chat, does anyone know why this pumpkin hasn't rotted?
Rotted?
Rottened?
My wife and I are both safe, and wife is pregnant. I was right.
Huzzah!
I love being right.
Pregnant wife.
Pregnant.
Huzzah!
We hadn't been planning to have children this soon, but we're excited for this little girl to come into our lives. We successfully got a restraining order against mom, and the charges are serious enough that the cops assured us they will immediately respond if she ever shows up. Life has been good beyond the incident, but I'm in counseling for depression. Wife is in it for PTSD.
Fire. Definitely house fire, dude. That's crazy.
It's been a long road, but I think it's over. Things will get better. And that is the end of the story.
Keon?
I dropped the phone.
Keon, is there an update? Is there an update?
After the 50 updates we got?
Yeah,
let's
but
check.
I just need to know if the mom did arson or not. Please.
What? I think that would have been
gotta
explained a long time ago.
No, because he was saying that she got sent into, but he couldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I think it's that one.
No, that's the one
I don't think we read that one.
We did. We just read it. Yeah, we just read it.
Dang it. Look at the comments. Go to their comments. Go to their comments, Keon. Go to the
Yeah. See, now you get this because I don't have my right arm.
All right. Are we on 1632 next?
Nope.
51, I think.
51. 1751?
Yeah, I don't think so. They never updated it. Dang. Yeah, I'm gonna guess. Or wait. Well, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm guessing that she tried to light the house on fire. That's my guess.
York's. That's not.
Because it's also like there's not a lot of stuff in that context that I can think of that would be that serious that they'd be like, yeah, you might have to actually stay in the inpatient psych facility for the foreseeable future. Criminal
Your poison tonic says uncarved pumpkin can survive 3 to 6 months if placed in a dry, cool place. But it's
been
6 months.
It's been 6 months.
It's been 6 months.
So are we right on the borderline of when it's just like we're gonna come
like-
up the next day? It's gonna look like SpongeBob,
That's
rotten
crazy.
SpongeBob food.